Hello and welcome to Vision Academy. My name is Hanumant Ladwa, and in this video we are going to write an industrial organization wants to computerize the allowance calculations given the monthly sales for the salesman. The rules for the calculations are as follows. 1. If the total sales is less than 10,000, there is no allowance. 2. If the total sales is between 10,000 rupees and 20,000 rupees, then the allowance is 10% of the sales amount or 1800 rupees, whichever is minimum. If the total sales is greater than or equal to 20,000, then the allowance is 20% of the sales amount or 6,000 rupees, whichever is minimum. Write a program using a function to calculate the allowance. Let us write the preprocessor directives hash include in an angular brace. I'm going to write iostream.h header file, and the next preprocessor directive is hash include in an angular brace. I'm going to write console input output.h header file. Now let us go for writing void main function curly open brace, and here we are going to declare the function before defining it in the program. Here I'm going to write the return type called float, and the name of the function is company, and here I'm going to pass one float type of data, and here I'm going to put semicolon. So this is called a function prototype. So function prototype creates an interface for the compiler that tells the compiler that this is the function declaration and it is defined, and you have to search for it and execute the statements present in it. So how exactly we are going to declare all the variables before using them in the program? In the same way, we have to declare the function. Hence, it is called function prototype, which I have written in a single line comment. Now, let us declare some other variable of type float. Here I am going to take sales, comma, and one more variable is called allowance and put semicolon. And now I am going to write CLR, SCR function, which is used to clear the screen. Now let us ask the user to enter the sales using cout stream insertion operator. In a double quotation mark, I am going to write enter the sales, end the double quotation mark and put semicolon, and we are going to receive the response from the user through keyboard using scene stream extraction operator, and we are going to take this variable called sales and put semicolon. Next, we are going to have a function call. So we'll have the function call by using this variable called allowance. So here I'm going to write allowance is equal to name of the function is company, and here in the argument place I'm going to pass this variable called sales and put semicolon. So this is called a function call. So whenever the compiler encounters with this function call, immediately control jumps to the function definition. Next, here we are going to write get ch function and semicolon. So here curly closing brace for this main function. Now it's time to define this particular function. Here we are going to write the return type float, and the name of the function is company, and here we have one argument of type float called sales. Curly open brace indicates this is the beginning of the body of the function. Now I'm going to declare a local variable called allowance of type float. Now we are going to check out the conditions which are given in the question, right? Yes. So here you can see the first question was if the total sales is less than 10,000, then there is no allowance. We are going to implement the same using if statement. If sales is less than 10,000, then we'll write this variable allowance is equal to 0.0 because it is float type of data. Next, we are going to write else if, and here you can check out the second condition. If the total sales is between 10,000 and 20,000, then the allowance is 10% of the sales amount or 1800 rupees. If the percentage 10% of sales amount crosses more than 1800 rupees, then we have to set 1800 only, not more than this. So that's the reason they have given whichever is minimum, right? Yes. So next condition is else if. We are going to check out two conditions. Sales is greater than or equal to 10,000, and we'll use the logical operator, and sales is less than 20,000. If this is true, then allowance is equated with 10% of sales. So here I'm going to write sales into 10 divided by 100 and put semicolon. So that is 10% of sales is equated to allowance. Next we have to check out if allowance is greater than 1800, then allowance must be equated with 1800.00 only, because here in the question itself they have given whichever is minimum, right? So next we'll go for the third condition. If the total sales is greater than or equal to 20,000, then allowance is 20% of the sales amount or 6,000 rupees, whichever is minimum. If the 20% of the sales amount crosses more than 6,000, then we have to fix this with 6,000 only. It should not cross more than 6,000. So here we are going to write else if once again. So here we are going to close this else if, and once again I am going to write here else if sales is greater than or equal to 20,000, because it is given in the question. So curly open brace, and here I am going to initialize allowance is equal to sales into 20 divided by 100, that is 20%. Next, if allowance is greater than 6,000, then we have to initialize allowance with 6,000 only, even though it crosses more than 6,000. Okay. Next, curly closing brace, and then we are going to write here return allowance. So why to write return allowance here? Because we have got the return type called float. Yes. Next, we are going to put curly closing brace for this opening brace of the function definition. Now, let us take an example. Here, once we compile and run this program, so here I'm going to write output. It is going to ask the user to enter the sales. Here I'm going to write enter the sales. For example, I'm going to enter 9,000. So sales variable is holding 9,000. Next, here you can see we have got a function call. When the compiler encounters with this function call, immediately control jumps to the function definition, and it is going to check out sales is less than 10,000. Yes. 9,000 is less than 10,000. Yes, it is true. Once it is true, then the allowance is set to value 0, that is 0.0. So this was the condition true, and after this true, this initialization takes place, and the control directly jumps to return allowance. So what it is going to return? 0.0. So here I am going to write allowance is equal to 0.0 will be printed. Yes. Okay. So let us take this one as run 1. Let us execute the same program once again. So once again it is going to ask the user to enter the sales. This time I am going to enter 19,000 we will take. Okay, 19,000. So this 19,000 will be stored in sales. When the compiler encounters with this function call, control transfers to the function definition, and it is going to check out if sales is less than 10,000. So what is the value of sales here? 19,000. 19,000 is less than 10,000? No, condition fails. Once this condition fails, then this particular statement will not get executed, and it is going to check out the next condition. Second condition is what? Else if sales is greater than or equal to 10,000, Yes, 19,000 is greater than or equal to 10,000. And sales, that is 19,000 is less than 20,000. Yes, this is also true. True and true always returns true. Next, allowance is equal to sales into 10% will be calculated. So here I'm going to write allowance is equal to 10% of sales. So what is sales? 19,000 into 10 divided by 100. So this 0, this 0, and this 0, this 0 will get cancelled. So what we remain with? 1900. So here I'm going to write 1900 will be stored in the variable called allowance, right? Next we are going to check out this condition. If allowance is greater than 1800, so 1900 is greater than 1800. Yes, it is true. If it is true, then we have to set 1800 only, not 1900. So what we can do here is we can set the variable allowance to 1800, and then control comes out of this selection statement and it is going to return the allowance. What is the allowance now? 1800. So it is going to print allowance is equal to 1800. So now let us take one more run. So third time we are going to execute this particular program. So once again it is going to ask the user to enter the sales. This time I'm going to enter, for example, 35,000, for example 35,000. So here it is, you can see sales greater than 20,000. So we'll check out all of these conditions. So once the compiler encounters with this function call, control transfers to function definition. It is going to check out the first condition. If sales is less than 10,000, 35 is less than 10,000, no, condition fails. Once this condition fails, then this particular statement will not get executed. It is going to check out the next condition. Sales is greater than or equal to 10,000. 35,000 is greater than or equal to 10,000. Yes, it is true. And sales is less than 20,000. 35,000 is less than 20,000. No, this is true and this is false. True and false will become false. So AND operator always returns true if both the operands are true. Otherwise it is going to return false. If this is false, then the control will never enter into the body of this else if, and all of these statement will not get executed. It is going to check out the next condition. Else if sales is greater than or equal to 20,000. Yes, 35,000 is greater than or equal to 20,000. So this is true. Once it is true, then the control enters into the body of this else if statement and allowance is calculated. So allowance is equal to sales into 20%. So here sales is what? 35,000 into 20 divided by 100. So this 0, this 0, this 0 and this 0 will get cancelled. So allowance is 3,500 will be stored in allowance. Next we are going to check out this condition. If allowance is what? 3,500 is greater than 6,000 here. So is it true? No. Once it is okay, we have to calculate even into 2, right? Because we should multiply this one, 3,500 into 2. So it will become 7,000, correct? 7,000. So here we'll write 7,000 is greater than 6,000. Yes, it is true. Once it is true, then allowance should be reset to 6,000 because whichever is minimum we have to receive that one. So that's the reason. So allowance 7,000 will not be given. Here 6,000 will be returned by this return statement. Now let us execute this program. For that I will take you to my laptop screen.
Here you can see I've already written this program in Turbo C++ compiler to save your time. Let us compile this program by pressing Alt F9. Here it is showing success that indicates there is no syntax error. I'll press enter. Now let us execute this program by pressing Ctrl F9. Here it is asking the user to enter the sales. For example, I'm going to enter 9,000 and press enter. Here you can see allowance is 0. Let us execute this program one more time by pressing Ctrl F9. Now it is asking the user to enter the sales. This time I'm going to enter 19,000 and press enter. Here you can see it is showing allowance is equal to 1800. Once again, we are going to execute this program by pressing Ctrl F9. Once again, it is asking the user to enter the sales. This time I'm going to enter 35,000 and press enter. Here you can see allowance is equal to 6,000. I hope you understood this program. If so, please write down in the comment box as understood. Thank you.